2024 has definitely been an interesting year in the world of real estate, especially here in North Georgia. Brand new home buyers, first time buyers, they're wondering, will housing ever be affordable again? Well, we were hoping for lower rates this year. Hasn't quite happened the way we thought it would. Home prices continue to go up. However, there's finally a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel. We're going to talk about what things look like as we head throughout the rest of this year and into next year, and more importantly for you, if you're looking to buy, when's the best time to jump in the market? Let's break it down. What's going on? This is Steve, real estate agent with the Malone Home Team at EXP here in Atlanta. Let's start out by saying thank you for joining us. If you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, it just helps us get in front of more people, helps us with the SEO, and just helps us share this information, especially with buyers who are wondering what the heck is going on in the market, especially here in Atlanta. All right, so let's break it down. We're going to take a look at the numbers. First, we're going to take a look at the numbers of what's going on this year, what's expected to happen mortgage rate-wise going forward. And then I want to kind of pontificate. We're gonna kind of lay out some. What does that mean as far as like where or when is the best time to buy? When's the most affordable time to buy? When will the rates go down? When will home prices go down? If you're asking yourself when will home prices go down and waiting for me to give you that answer, you're going to be sorely upset and let down. I'm going to tell you that ahead of time. But you can watch the video anyway. But I'm going to tell you the truth. It's what we do. Because you're looking for home prices to go down, it ain't happening. But I'm going to show you, stat-wise, why that's not going to happen and why it's really not a bad thing. Okay? We're going to talk about that too. So there you go. That's the setup. We're going to look at the numbers. Then we're going to look forward because everybody's looking for lower mortgage rates. Everybody's looking for more affordability. Everybody's looking for the opportunity to get a deal. Okay? And what I want you to think first, we'll look at the numbers and we'll talk about it, but I want you to think about this going forward. If you could go back in time and look at some of the stuff, like I'm going to show you some stats that are going to boggle your mind when you see what the home prices were, what the average home prices were, median home prices were just like 6 or 7 years ago. It's crazy how far things have come in those 6 or 7 years. The best deal is a deal I could go back and make 7 years ago. Okay, 7 years ago we thought things were crazy. All right, now things are crazy. 5 to 7 years from now, you're going to look back and say, thank goodness I bought a house at whatever I bought the house at, because it's going to be more than that in 5 to 7 years. Okay, 99.9% guarantee here in Atlanta. Some other market that's crazy. Here, I think things have stabilized a lot in the last 2 years. Okay, last 2 years, I'll admit, it's been a little funky. I say keep your foot on the gas and let's roll. It has not been as pretty as I thought it would be, but we've gone up. I think that from here, I think we've stabilized and we're going to continue to go up. Now, it's not going to be like it was during the pandemic where everything went up 15 to 20% every year, but things are going to go up. Okay, I want you to build equity. Okay, homeowners versus renters. Homeowners have 40 times higher net worth than renters. Okay, I want you to get on the equity train. Okay, I want you to take care of your family. I want you to build legacy. Okay, so I know you're going to be nervous. Let's talk about stats, and then we talk about what's happening next. So let's break down. First, stat-wise, what's happened the first 5 to 6 months of the year, and then we talk about what's happening next. Now, we're going to go deep into the numbers right now to take a look at what's going on in the Atlanta area. Now, again, this is Atlanta. It's different everywhere else in the country. Okay, but here's Atlanta. Let's look at the numbers. So these are the stats. All right, these are coming into June. All right, we're going to get a little dorky here. Try and keep it entertaining, though. All right, so the thing I want you to notice is we're looking at sales price. Greater Atlanta area, looking at the sales price, median sales price. We're sitting at 434. That's the highest we've ever seen, even going back to June of 22, which is kind of like the peak of the craziness. Median was 432.055. We're 434 right now. So we're at the best we've ever been. June 2022, the average sales price was like 520 and change. Average sales price now, 539 and change. It's been a quiet couple years as far as home values and things like that, but things are improving. Things are on the way up. So there's that. Okay. Now, here's the thing I want to show you. Homes for sale. This is pretty interesting. Number of homes for sale, 14,314 in May. Okay, or coming out of May. So I guess it's like the end of May, beginning of June. 14,314 houses available. The most we've seen in at least the last 3 years. Open up to 5 years. the most that we've seen since, we got to go all the way back to June of 2020. So right when the pandemic hit, everything started going sideways and went sideways in a hurry. But we look back at the max, look at the back all the way back to like 2011, 2012. Shoot, you go back to 2011, 2012, you got 35,000, 36,000 homes on the market. And then it dropped, and then everything kind of stabilized in here, right? So you had like anywhere between on a year, let's say starting in 15, you had 20 to 16, to around 20-ish to 16, to around 18, 19, to around, so you're in that 20 to 15 range, right? So we're kind of getting back to where that was. That was not a bad market. It was just kind of a stale market, but it wasn't bad. Home values were going up. People, if your house looked great, you're still getting multiple offers on it. You didn't have 25,000 offers on it, but you're still getting multiple offers if the house looked good. But buyers typically were getting an opportunity to inspect the property, getting a chance to get some fixes, things like that. So that's where we are right now. Homes for sale is way up. Okay, let me bring it back to the 3-year number because I want you to look at this. Months supply. We talk about this number all the time. What is the month supply? If we stopped adding houses to the market right now, okay, and we just had what we had and we're selling them at the speed that we're selling them, okay, that's selling them at a certain speed, we only have right now about 3.2 months of inventory. That means it take 3.2 months to clear it all out if we didn't add anything else, okay? Now, anything between 5 months and 7 months is an average market. 3 to 5 months is a seller's market. Anything under 3 is a pretty strong seller's market. Under 2 is a banana seller's market, okay? 3.2, seller's market. Not a crazy seller's market, okay? Because you have more sellers than buyers. It's kind of how we look at it. The sellers have more hand in the negotiating than the buyers. But the buyers definitely have a little bit of hand in the negotiating, a lot more so than when it was back here in 2022, where it was like 1%, right? Or I'm sorry, 1 month of inventory. That was crazy. There was nothing out there. We had 50, 60, 70 offers on every home. It was crazy, all right? So we're up to 3.2. Is it panic time? Again, we're going to open this up. 3.2. We go all the way back here. Last time we were at 3.2, you got to go back to September of 19, going into the pandemic, okay? But look at what we had back here. We were like 2s to 3s, 2s to low 3s, 2s to low 3s, 2s to low 3s. We were in that kind of pattern from 2016 to about 2020. About a 5-year run there. And what happened with the sales price during that time? Let's look at the median. 2016, it was here. Sales price went up. Sales price went up to 2020. Okay? Look at this median sale price is $200,000. Holy cow. Those were the good old days. All right, but you see, even in a market that's kind of flat and just, not too terribly exciting, things go up. That's the way real estate works. Real estate goes up. What happened in 2007, 2008, everybody's expecting it to crash just because they're expecting it to crash. Real estate's not a stock. It's not a stock. Like if you bought, and I'm not picking on anybody, I love Apple, so I'm just going to use Apple as an example here. If Apple today goes up like 50% on the price of where it was today, tomorrow you could probably expect it to give some of that money back, maybe over the next couple of days. Maybe 50% is inflated and then it comes down, but then it goes up and then it comes down. Real estate's a little more insulated than that, especially in certain markets. Like Atlanta's a good market. Atlanta doesn't have the crazy ups and downs. It just has a nice steady up. So don't expect these prices, at least in the next 3 to 5 years, to go down, okay? All right, let's show out some of the other stuff I wanted to show you was price per square foot. Let's slow this down a little bit. Price per square foot down just a hair, down to 220 on average. Median's 203. Still pretty high compared to where we were last couple of years. We were 205 last month, 203 this month. Things are still, again, steadily improving. We had those couple of years where things went crazy from 2020 to 2021, 22 to 21 to 22. Those 2 years were both like 15 to 20% up each year on price. We've been more in that 3 to 5% the last couple of years. That's kind of what we're supposed to see. It's not cause for panic. It's cause for kind of breathing. lets us know that maybe things are going to get back on track here. All right, so those are the stats, where we are right now. What's driving it? Because here's the other thing I want to show you. Closed sales. And I want to look at, I can look at the last 6 months, okay? The last 6 months in Atlanta, so May through, so December of last year all the way through May, 26,403. Okay, that's how many sales we've had. You look at that same time the year before, 26,799. We're close, but still lagging behind just a little bit. Okay, you go back to May 22. May of 22 was crazy. We had like 36,000 closings, and obviously a big drop last year. So that was a 6-month run of 26 and change, just a little bit less. Okay, so volume-wise, we're doing let's just call it even. We're doing about the same this year as we did last year. Okay, that's kind of where we are right now. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but there's a reason for that. The reason why we didn't have a bump, and that's because of these mortgage rates, 30-year fixed mortgage rates. We're looking back to last summer. See the ups, you see the downs. You see the ups, you see the downs. So last year, when we were what? That was the end of last year. We were at 6.6%, looking at this year, thinking to ourselves, this is going to be great. We're in the sixes, maybe we'll be in the low sixes by summertime, maybe we'll be in the upper fives by the end of the year. And then guess what happened? We had very hot data, pushed the numbers back up above 7, little reprieve, and then boom, we were way up at 7.5% on rates right there by middle part of April. When you get to 7.5, a lot of the buyers checked out, and I think that's where a lot of the people who were supposed to be in the market checked out. However, in the last couple of weeks, things have, you see, now I'm kind of a math nerd, and I can see, like, take out all the wiggles, right? You can see there's an uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. We're on a downtrend. I think that downtrend is going to continue for a while. Now, I am not saying that the mortgage rates are going to be in the 5s anytime soon. We may be in the 5s sometime next year, probably end of next year. Let's say maybe we get a reprieve in summertime of next year. We get some mortgage rates in the 5s, and that blows everything open. But that's anybody you see that's forecasting that is really jumping out on a limb, because there's a lot of things you have to keep in account. We talk about 3 things all the time: the jobs report, inflation report, and the consumer confidence and consumer spending. So let's look at those 3 over the last month. Jobs report. This came out June 7th. We're recording this June 19th, Wednesday, June 19th. This is the first Friday of the month we get this. We added some bounce in there. Hopefully it doesn't record. If it does, then my apologies. I'm going to take me out, just in case. So U.S. adds much better than expected, 272,000 jobs, but unemployment rate edged up to 4%. So 4% on the unemployment rate, that's kind of where they wanted it to be, even though they added more jobs. But when you look at what's happened week after week after week, what you're getting is a lot of unemployment numbers added, or people looking to jump into the unemployment rolls. So week after week, we're seeing an increase in that. That's bad economic news, but bad economic news is good for mortgage rates. So it's going to pull the mortgage rates down. So as this unemployment rate goes up, mortgage rates come down. So that's a good thing that happened in June for mortgage rates. Inflation also slowed. This was Wednesday, June 12th. Inflation slows in May with consumer prices up 3.3%. The question is, A, where does the number go? And B, where does it go compared to where everybody thinks it's going to go? And the inflation was a little less than everybody expected. That was good news too. That helped pull the rates down. And then we also saw the Treasury yields retreat as weak retail sales raised concerns about consumer confidence. Okay, so retail sales, this came in this week, came in yesterday. Those numbers came down a little bit from where they expected them to be. So those are 3 decent reports in a row. That's why, we'll go back here, that's why you've seen this drop over the last couple of weeks. You get 3 reports in a row showing that the economy is slowing down, you're going to see mortgage rates come down, because the mortgage rates, if everything's good, here, I'll go back here. If everything's good, mortgage rates go up, everything stinks, mortgage rates go down. That's why mortgage rates were crazy good during the pandemic, because everything was terrible during the pandemic. So let's talk about the Fed. Okay, so come here. July 31st, 2024. This is when the Feds are going to meet. Now, the thing is, and here I'm going to try and see if I can turn this back on and see if I'm going to be bouncing anymore. So what happens is the Fed funds rate and the mortgage rates are not connected, but they're going to run in parallel. Okay, they're going to kind of go and say, because they're both kind of following what's going on in the market, follow what's going on in the economy. As the economy cools off, the Feds are going to drop their rates. As the economy cools, the mortgage rates are going to drop. Again, they're not necessarily connected, but they are going to travel in the same curve. Okay, so looking at what the Feds are going to do is going to give us a real good idea of what they think the economy is going to do and what the mortgage rates should do. Okay, so what's going to happen? Right now, our current target rate is 525 to 550 basis points. Okay, when we have the meeting July 31st, 2024, the CME group, they put out this tool. It's a really cool tool. Love looking at it. They're saying it's 90% chance they're going to keep the rates where they are in July, which I agree with. I don't think they're going to drop the rates in July. So at the end of July, when the Feds come out and say we're not dropping rates, don't be surprised. It's not going to shock anybody at all. I think everybody would be shocked if they actually drop the rates. But here we go. Now we go to September. Holy cow, they're going to drop the rates. They're going to drop the rates for the first time in a really, 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 really long time. That's coming in September. 59.5% likelihood, okay? 34% chance that they keep it where it is. Now, what happens economy-wise between now and then obviously is going to dictate whether or not they drop their rates, okay? November, they're expected to stay right where they are at the 500 to 525, but then by December, they may drop it again. The current thought process is it's a 44% chance they're actually going to drop it that second time in December, okay? So what does that mean? That means you're going to have 1 to 2 drops from the Fed, indicating that they see a continuing slowing of the economy. They can let their foot off the gas of the rates, because what they're doing by keeping their rates high, the Fed funds rate is the rate that banks lend money to each other. Okay, so like you get a car loan, a credit card, whatever, those the rates that are in there are they're tied to this. Mortgage rates aren't tied to what the Feds do, but some of those other consumer kind of credit things are. Okay, so as those come down, credit card percentages come down, whatever, things are going to ease up a little bit. Okay, so as the economy cools off, they feel like they can kind of let off the gas a little bit on trying to slow the economy down. And again, the mortgage rates are going to also see that economy cooling as an indication of we can let the rates go down too, through all their levers. Okay, so, and then it goes from there. And let's look at some probabilities as we look forward to the middle part of July of next year. So you're right here at 525 to 550. By September, you have 1 drop. December, you have a 2nd drop. Maybe the end of January, you have a 3rd drop. 4th drop in April. 5th drop in June. That's where the probabilities are right now. Now, if it works exactly like that, I'll buy you a Coke. Okay, it's not going to happen exactly that way. It never does. But it gives you an idea of what they're expecting. Just slow and steady this year, maybe picking up the pace a little bit next year. Okay, so what are we going to watch over the next couple of days? Well, we're going to watch this. The next unemployment report. Next unemployment report is going to come out July 5th. Next CPI report is going to come out on July 11th. So that is the Thursday. Okay, so Friday the 5th, Thursday the 11th. And then we'll get the, I think the following Tuesday or Wednesday is when we get the next round of consumer data as far as like how much spending there was, consumer spending. But these are the 2 big ones: unemployment and the CPI. The mortgage rates are going to wobble, and I think they're going to wobble slightly down, and little things are going to take it off. But those are 2 reports. When you see those come out, watch those, because if they say unemployment was more unemployee-age than expected, or that's a word, I just made that up, or the CPI or the inflation data was much cooler than we expected, whatever. If things are worse than they expected, or lower than they expected, or quieter than they expected, that's bad news for the economy, which is good news for mortgage rates. Okay, so we looked at all the data, looked at all the stuff. Let's talk about what that means for you going forward. So looking at all the numbers, looking at all the trends, looking at, what I think the mortgage rates are going to do, looking at what the Feds are probably going to do, looking at what home prices are going to do. Let's take a look at it. Let's sum up what we just saw. You just saw the steady increase, right? You saw the numbers going up. Maybe it was going like this. That was going like this. Yeah, there you go. You saw the numbers going up on how much the homes were worth, even in the quiet times when the market was just bleh. They went up. Home prices went up. It wasn't 15%. It was like 3 to 5% every year, but the home prices went up. That's where we are right now. It's not bad. It's kind of refreshing. Nice, slow, and steady. And then what we're going to have happen is the mortgage rates are going to come down. Every 1% mortgage rates go down, 5 million buyers across the country jump back in the pool. Okay, that Barry Habib said that. I think it's Barry Habib, not Harry, but yeah, Barry Habib said that. He's like mortgage guru for the United States. He said that. It's like, if you have a recession, 1.5 million people will be unemployed. It's temporary. But 5 million people are going to jump back in the market when the rates go down 1%. So you have a net 3.5 million people jumping back in the pool, right? So that's kind of that's probably what's going to happen. Where you are now is kind of quiet. It's kind of and you have a lot more homes on the market right now than what we've seen. So if I'm a buyer and I'm worried about affordability, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that, here's what I'm going to tell you. A, you buy here in Atlanta, home prices are going to go up. All right, I don't want you to think next 3 to 6 months. I want you to think next 3 to 5 years. Home prices are going up, number one. Number two, the interest rates are going to come down. I don't know if they're going to come down into the low fives. I don't think they are. I think they're going to bottom out in the probably upper fives, 5.75. You can get it right around 5.75 and refi there. I'd refi there and then watch to see what happens. At some point, you're going to have a major recession. At some point, you're going to have to push those mortgage rates way down to keep the economy going. And if that's the case, you hold on for dear life and hopefully you can refi then, okay? But right now, it looks like 5.75 is probably where we're going to bottom out. It's probably sometime late next year, okay? So I don't want you to buy now thinking, well, in 2 years, I'm just going to get a 4.5% interest rate. You're not. Not unless something crazy happens. Now, again, if we go into war, something crazy happens, I don't want to go to war. I don't think there's any reason for us to go to war. You can at me about that, whatever. I don't think we need to go to war. But if we do, it's going to throw everything out the window. Things change, okay? But as it looks right now, based on everything that we're looking at, mortgage rates are going to steadily go down, and they're going to bottom out at 5.75, and then we'll see what happens then. That'll take us about 2 years from now, and then we'll see what everything looks like, what the landscape looks like, what we look like post-election, what we look like, with the economy. Because at some point, when the Feds raise, they start to lower those rates, the economy is going to turn back on at some point, and then we'll see if it comes like roaring back to life or it's just a little bit back to life. We'll just have to see how it plays out, okay? But that's kind of what we're watching. First-time home buyer. Home prices are going up. Mortgage rates are going to come down a little, okay? Grab what you can afford and start building equity, okay? I know it ain't pretty, okay? I probably should dress that up and pretend like I'm a well-spoken real estate agent. It's not a very whatever. No, it ain't pretty. I ain't pretty. I'm out there. I'm seeing some of these houses that are out there. The ones that are a mess are a mess. I mean, we've seen some pretty interesting houses the last couple of days. The ones that are nice, they're getting multiple offers. All right, it's a weird spot to be in right now. But if you are a buyer, grab a house. Okay, and there's plenty of opportunities out there. I mean, there's new construction that are giving out like $15,000 in new buyer incentives. Or they're letting people buy down a lifetime rate of 4.99. I mean, we have a house that we're selling, and the people were going to buy our house, and they turned around and said, "Holy cow, new construction's doing 4.99% for the life of the loan." we can't compete with that, right? So, I mean, so stuff like that is out there. Okay, or you can find a really nice house in a really nice area, maybe get a really good deal on it. I'm not talking about getting 50,000 under asking price, but if they're asking, let's say 400, maybe you can get it for 390. Get some seller concessions for closing costs. Have some money to fix up the house when you move in. Not put as much money out to close. Get an inspection. Get some things fixed. I mean, you have those opportunities. Yeah, it doesn't sound very exciting. I'm telling you, compared to where we were two years ago. 2 years ago, you had people. If it was a $500,000 house, there was one of the strangest houses I ever saw. $530,000 house for sale in Suwanee. They had like 70, 80 offers. My people wanted to be one of them. But the winning bid went $105,000 over asking price. Waived the appraisal, waived the inspection, waived everything. That place there was water around the outside of the house. I mean, you really needed to have somebody come look and see what's going on with the drainage, what's going on with this, what's going on with that. People didn't care. That back in 21 and 22, it was nuts. It's a different market now. You find a really nice house, you have the opportunity to get it at a little under asking price. You have the opportunity to do an inspection, all that stuff. You can be pretty solid in the thing that you're buying, right? And it goes up in value next 3 to 5 years. Then you have options. 3 to 5 years from now, that house, if you buy it for $400,000, 3 to 5 years from now, you're talking about a $500,000 house at least. You got $100,000 you can put down towards the next one, and whatever else you paid as a down payment, plus whatever you paid down on the loan. That's the other thing. I mean, you have so many advantages by buying a house. You've got the equity that goes up. You've got the amount that you're paying down on principal. You have tax advantages from owning a house too. Okay, so you're getting it from all different areas. If you're renting, the money just goes out the door. You have no equity. You have no tax write-off. You're not paying down a mortgage. I mean, unfortunately, you're paying down a mortgage. You're paying down your landlord's mortgage. Okay, so that's where we are. So people ask, when are things going to be more affordable? I mean, where we are right now, they're going to become more affordable when the rates go down. But when the rates go down, buyers are going to come back and they're going to push those prices up. I think this is a really good time. That's number one. Number two, the other thing I want you to think about is, when are the best months to buy? I tell all my people, July, August, December. July and August, because people want to be in place before school starts. School starts August 1st. By July 1st through 10th, people want to be in. They want to have their house. Okay? So a lot of buyers disappear by the time we get to the middle part of July. It's your chance to go out and go find a house. Middle of July through the end of August, a lot of buyers are on the sidelines. It's your chance to swoop in, grab a house, swoop out. Nobody saw you do it. It'd be great. December's the same way. Everybody's doing Christmas stuff. Everybody's doing end of the year stuff, holiday parties, Christmas parties, going to grandma's house, over the river and through the woods. Nobody's looking at houses. Go look in December. Man, I love looking at houses in December. They're all pretty on the inside. There's trees up, there's lights, everybody's in a good mood, and there's no buyers. There's no competition. Okay? So that's how I want you to think. I want you to think timing-wise. Before the mortgage rates go way down, you've got a lot more inventory right now. The buyers are getting ready to thin out. I'm telling you, plan for the end of July, beginning part of August. It's a great time to go look at houses. So if you're asking me what's the best time, most affordable time, the best time, whatever to go buy, that would be the perfect time. But everybody has their own economy. Everybody has their own kind of thoughts and dreams, things like that. So if you want to talk about yours, talk about what makes the most sense for you, you give us a call. All right? My email is below. Reach out to us. Call us 470-233-4409. You can call me there as well. But let's talk about what we can do to help you out. And if you ever have any questions about real estate, we love talking about this stuff. Okay? Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps us out. I appreciate it all the time. If you made it to the end of this, I appreciate you. All right? This is Steve, Malone Home Team EXP. Take care.